You may have heard me mention this before, but the lighting in a space can make a huge impact. And I'm not just talking about the aesthetics, but the functionality of it as well. We not only have fixtures, ceiling lighting, and lamps, but also functionality comes into play when we move on to elements like color temperature. For most, lighting can be an afterthought, but lighting that's not correctly planned out can alter the final execution of the design and the mood and energy of the home. Layered lighting. A lot of times, people will solely rely on overhead lighting to illuminate every space in their home. And while that gets the job done, we are actually preventing our space from being its absolute best. Every space needs 2 to 4 light sources, which is referred to as layered lighting, all incorporated in different areas of the home at varying heights for balance and depth. Personally, I try to incorporate at least 3 light sources, not only in my projects, but my home as well. Depending on the room, we have overhead lighting, ambient lighting, task lighting, and accent lighting. Overhead lighting is most commonly referred to as ceiling lighting, and is usually the first type of lighting incorporated in every home. Overhead lighting is great when you want the big lights, but can feel harsh at times and create unflattering shadows. Try using overhead lighting in combination with other layers of lighting to not only create a bright space, but an even and balanced space. Ambient lighting. The functionality of this kind of lighting is to create a soft, warm glow in a space. It can be a combination of table lamps, floor lamps, sconces, and in some cases even large fixtures like chandeliers where the soft, subtle glow is emitting through the crystals or glass globes. Task lighting, also referred to as directional lighting. While ambient lighting is mainly used for aesthetics, task lighting is more functional. This type of lighting is used for specific tasks, so think hood lighting over a stove in a kitchen, an office table lamp, or a bar chandelier over a dining table to directly light that space. Accent lighting. The function is built into the name. Accent lighting is the least functional and is purely aesthetic. This type of lighting is used to bring attention to design and architectural elements. Think accent shelving, or art, or picture frame lighting. Accent lighting is perfect to create a more dramatic space. How should I layer my lighting? Start by assessing your space and planning your accent lighting first. Accent light. Are there any design elements of the room you'd like to accentuate? A plant, a piece of art, shelving, under cabinet lighting. Second, task light. Are there any specific tasks being carried out in this space that will require directional lighting, like for a bathroom or track lighting in a living room? Third, ambient lighting. Does this space need any table lamps near a sofa or a chair? Will I be using sconces in an entryway wall? Do I need pendants over the kitchen island? Lastly, overhead lighting. Does this room need the big lights? Usually for spaces like bedrooms and intimate formal dining rooms, ceiling lights are considered too harsh and unnecessary. Lighting aesthetics. When it comes to aesthetics, correct placement of ceiling pendants and chandeliers can be crucial. Generally speaking, when installing pendants over a kitchen island, the bottom of the light fixture should be 36 inches above the island for a 10-foot ceiling, or 28 to 30 inches above the island for ceiling heights 9 feet or less. For lighting, scale is determined on the size of the furniture the lighting is above, as opposed to the size of the room. For example, when choosing a light fixture for a dining table, as a general rule, the size of the light fixture should be 2/3 of the width of the table. For our 96-inch dining table, we opted for a 70-inch light fixture. When choosing an overhead fixture for an entire room, think bedroom, The ideal diameter is your room's length in feet plus width in feet. So for example, a 12 by 10 room would need a 22 to 24 inch diameter light fixture. The goal is always to create a statement and have the lighting stand out, but in a good way. Match light fixture to the other design elements in the room. Think same or similar metals. Not only will this method create cohesion in a room, but will allow the light fixture to stand out and create a statement while still blending in and not feeling busy. When combining multiple light elements in the same room, some designers will mix different materials but similar shapes and styles. Personally, being a minimalist, that method seems a tad bit chaotic. I opt to mix lighting elements that are shaped differently but are similar in material and/or color. I believe adapting this method makes the space more cohesive. Indoor lighting is important, but so is the outdoors. Don't forget your outdoor lighting, especially if you have windows facing directly to that outdoor space. A dark window makes your space feel small. When your outside space is lit up, it makes both the indoor and outdoor feel larger. Lighting temperature not only plays a key role on our mood and energy levels, but the energy levels of our home as well. Let's use our cell phones as an example. There's so much literature out there about the blue light emitting from our phones affecting our sleep cycle when we use our phones before bed, and how it's better to opt for the yellow light setting instead. Before we get into which temperature lighting is optimal for our space, let's talk about the basics of lighting and temperature. The temperature of lighting is measured in Kelvin. The lower the Kelvin, the warmer the light. These are divided into 4 categories: warm white, soft white, cool white, and daylight. Warm white is in this range and exhibits a yellow hue. Although calming, warm white can also dramatically alter the color perception of the paint. When selecting warm white bulbs for a home, a cooler paint color should be considered to avoid the space looking yellow. Warm white is usually selected for spaces like bedrooms and living rooms for a calm ambiance. Soft white lights are in this range and exhibit a white-yellow hue. I prefer to keep my home between the 3000 Kelvin range and the 3500 Kelvin range. I believe that with the warm, cool undertones of this lighting range, it creates the perfect balance and harmony with the light and dark design elements I have in my space. In general terms though, this range of lighting is selected for kitchens and bathrooms where a balance of calm and energized is needed. Cool white is in this range and exhibits a white-blue hue. Implementing this color temperature range in a space like a garage or an office will create a more energized mood and increases concentration. Daylight. Most people believe that the daylight glow is the optimal temperature setting when it comes to lighting because it'll be light and airy. But in reality, the daylight range exhibits a strong blue hue, which can create a cold and sterile setting. Perfect for a hospital or a commercial office where the intended use of space is to be alert at all times, but not so ideal when referring to a home setting. One of the most common mistakes people make is inconsistency of temperature in a single space. For example, in an open concept great room, imagine the kitchen lighting being a cool 3500 Kelvin and the living room lighting a warm 2700 Kelvin. The difference in color will become quite apparent and will throw off the depth of the space, creating an imbalance. For this reason, I've opted for smart LED light bulbs for my own home, where not only am I maximizing energy usage, but I have the flexibility to control the temperature of the space. All the lighting in my home is between 3000 Kelvin and 3500 Kelvin range. But let's just say there's a moment where I'd like to turn off all the recessed lighting and use my ambient lighting instead. I can adjust the temperature of the bulbs to create either a warm or cool setting. Another week in. I just want to say I genuinely love what I do, and I want to thank you guys for watching and supporting my channel.